All right, there it goes. It's up. All right. Hey, what's up, guys? This might be a bit of surprise kind of out of the blue for you. But hey, we got a new show that we're doing here live from El Sion Studios. We're not in La Cocina today. But we have a new show that I've been kind of playing around with this idea in my head for a little while. Basically, it's called Friends, Fans, and Fighters, or Triple F. Reason being is that we used to do interviews and stuff when we were just, podcast version. We would have, wrestlers and stuff come on. And then also, throughout the years, man, we've been doing Houston Wrestling Radio for a long time, guys. And over the years, we've met new people and we made new friends and people that are just like fans of the show, that kind of thing. And, I'll get asked, hey, man, can I come on the show? Or, hey, do you take calls or whatever? And when we were doing, just a podcast version, it was easy for us to interview just wrestlers. Like that was simple to do. But when we were on the YouTube, that was a little bit harder to do. So this is kind of our answer for that. What we're going to be doing here is that we're going to interview different people, either different friends of ours or people that we've met through the podcast, through Houston Wrestling Radio, or just other wrestlers. Just, have a sit-down interview with, interesting people that like wrestling. So here for our first episode, I have a good friend of mine. He is my coworker. He is Arnold Ramirez. Arnold, what's up, man? Welcome.
Thanks for having me, man. It's, something different. I've been wanting to do this since you started doing the damn thing. I'm like, hey, let me come on the show. Let me.
You're one of those people that's fucking bugging me about it.
Before there was 3 members, I was like, hey, let me be the third member. You're busy, and all of a sudden I see a third member, like, hey, I wanted to be on the thing.
Well, there's reason for that. You've been down since before even day one. Like before I even started making Houston Wrestling Radio thing. You were the guy that I was kind of bouncing the ideas off of.
You started by wanting to do like bits, comedy things. That was your original thing you were gonna do. So yeah, you were gonna buy a microphone and just record yourself or whatever. You were gonna buy a recorder, and then that turned into just us talking about wrestling, and then that turned into you doing Houston Wrestling Radio.
Yeah,
and then bam.
Well, I think it was. I've been on record telling this story before, where it's like people ask, "Hey, where'd you get the idea for Houston Wrestling Radio?" And I always said, "Well, at work." Drive around a lot and always listening to sports radio, and you kind of were always more into football and baseball and basketball, real sports, sports more than I was. You were into it more than I was. Yeah. But when we would sit around and we would listen, that's all they would talk about, and I was just wrestling guy. And I was like, what would be a good idea is if wrestling, they talked about wrestling, and so that's kind of where I got the idea. And you were the guy that I was sitting around with listening to the sports stuff. And it was funny because like you got me more into sports, even though I had always been into sports. You just got me more into it. But you had always been into wrestling, and I just got you more into wrestling.
Yeah,
so it's kind of a
I've been into wrestling since I was a kid. I grew up, renting Coliseum videos at freaking VHSs and whatnot. And I'm 29, so I grew up in the Attitude Era and just like living that whole thing. Probably too young to be living it, but living it. And and there's just I was all about wrestling until probably like I shouldn't have been into wrestling still. I remember I was 14 and 9/11 had just happened, and it was like it was a real serious time. And I remember just being in my room and watching like George Bush do like some address or whatever. But I'm over here sitting with the fucking wrestling monitos and just like wrestling, playing with them action figures. I was like, maybe I should put this down. I think this is enough. Like so
during
9/11, like conferences and whatnot.
You were 14 years old.
I was 4. I was in high school already.
And 9/11 happened in the morning.
9/11 happened in the morning. No, this is like weeks after 9/11.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like he was doing like the State of the Union address or some shit like that. And I was over here watching that, playing with action figures. I'm like, maybe I should put these down and then grow up a little bit. And so from then on, like I didn't watch wrestling for like 10 years. And it was just coincidentally my little nephew was at the age, he was like 8 or I was like 7 or 8 or something like that. In like 2009, 2010, he got into wrestling, and I was looking for a way to bond with him and whatnot. So I started watching wrestling again with him, and it was fun getting into it and watching with him like 2011 or so. And that's when coincidentally, that was like the summer of Punk happened.
Yeah,
that pulled me back in. I was like, oh wow, this is awesome. I love CM Punk and all this whatnot. And then he grew out of it a few months later, and I was like, crap.
Your nephew grew out of it.
Yeah. He grew out of it, and I'm just like, well, shit. And then thankfully, I started working with you. You were into wrestling.
Yeah.
So that's how it just came full circle. Of like, hey, well, fuck it. I could keep up with wrestling and watch it.
You got out of it. Your little nephew got you back into it.
then he got out of it. Yeah.
But then I came along and so it's kind of like a roller coaster up and down for you.
Correct.
All right. Well, I kind of get it. I was kind of the same way about, real sports, because, when we sat here on the couch and I was talking with Alex Del Barrio on our Turnbuckle Theater episode where we reviewed This is a XFL ESPN 30 for 30 special, I mentioned to him that, maybe it's because I grew up in Houston where, we had the Oilers. And then the Oilers went away, and I was a kid, and I was like, well, I don't care because I don't have a team here, so I didn't care. So, now that the Texans were a thing, I was like, oh, all right, I got back into it, but I didn't know what the hell was going on, and like now. And
we always listen to, sports radio, so you kind of, got into it as well.
It educated me a little bit more. Yes. Like, as far as like sports go, like I would consider myself the equivalent of a Cena kid. Like I root for my home teams, even though they're not that good. Even though I don't care what the hell everyone else is doing. Like I root for my team because that's my team. But I don't know like the X's and O's. Like
you're the Houston Texans C Nation basically.
Yeah, basically. Like I barely learned what the hell offsides is. Like 2 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, and that's sort of how I was when I got back into wrestling because it had been so long since I watched it in a while, and I was like, "Who the fuck are all these people?" Like I had heard of CM Punk because I'm like a metalhead, and I heard he came out to Killswitch Engage at the time, and I was like, "Oh, what the hell? This is badass! A fucking like a metalcore guy, wrestling or whatnot like that." But
he wasn't Revolver's most metal wrestler.
no, Baron Corbin is. But like when I came back into wrestling. It was the day like Edge retired, so I'm like, I knew that guy, but I don't anymore. Who the fuck are all these guys? I remember John Cena like first coming in. That's when I was already exiting myself. So I was like, I don't know what the hell's going on. I just know my little nephew was like all into like some of these characters, like no idea who the hell they were. So like I educated myself when I got back into it. Yeah, and just started like reading and whatnot.
With the network, it's easy.
Now with the network, you can just go relive some shit that I'd missed. Like I said, I missed all of, like the. Whatever happened in the mid 2000s, like the Eddie Guerrero, whenever he was huge, and on SmackDown, I would occasionally watch that, because it was on regular TV, and I was like, flipping through the channels, and Eddie, Rey Mysterio, and all that stuff like that. When SmackDown was like prime, before it became like a throwaway show, but now it's like the best show.
Now it came back again.
Show. That's how it was. I mean, but like I was into wrestling. I used to read dirt sheets when they were legitimate dirt sheets. Like they were paper.
Like actual paper
sheets.
Sheets.
Like my brother had a job and he had a coworker that he had that would do like he was like I guess he was a nerd too, would watch wrestling and whatnot. And he would like, hey chick, I got this stuff for you, like wrestling, right? And it was like results for next week's Raw. So I was like, I would be that kid, like, I bet you next week, Savio Vega's gonna, fight so and whatnot. And then the next week, like, how the hell do you know? I was like, I'm just got good at. I was full of shit. I knew I had a whole rundown of what was going on. So like I knew
all
the
stuff. Cheat sheet,
yes, exactly. Yeah, I had all the stuff that was going on backstage. Like I knew that Jericho didn't like Goldberg in like '98. You know what I mean? I knew that back in the day because of just the shit that I would read. And like I got out of that and I got all I did my own thing for a while and came back into wrestling, and now I nerd out too on my lunch break, where you're just sitting down playing games or whatever, eating. I'm just over here eating a little bit and watch, like reading Lords of Pain and dirt sheets and fucking viral dirt sheets, I guess now.
That's funny though, because like, see, when I was younger, I didn't read dirt sheets or get into ass. So all I would do was just watch the product, and I loved wrestling, so I just would watch wrestling. But the thing is, I didn't have cable, so I would watch it on Coliseum home video, VHS tapes. A month or two after like WrestleMania happened in April, and I was watching it for the first time in August. So I was always behind, but like I always watched it. So it's weird because you actually had the dirt sheets. Yeah. So it's like you actually had more street cred than I did.
Yeah, pretty much.
But now it's kind of
now it's around. Like you're teaching me about things. Like I watch as far as like how you say you are with the Texans and stuff like that. That's how I am with the WWE. Like I like WWE. I never watched TNA. I don't know anything about ROW. I mean, ROH.
Well,
I definitely don't know about ROW
ROW.
and like New Japan and all that stuff. You tell me all that stuff. Like, so like whenever last year AJ Styles came back, everyone was like, "Fuck AJ Styles." I'm like, I remember seeing that guy like on a episode of Jacked in like 2002 or something like that. Like
Sunday Night Heat.
Yeah, Sunday Night Heat or something like that. I know the name, but I don't know anything about that. So you taught me about all these wrestlers and whatnot like that, and that's just how it came back to the fold this way as far as like what goes on. But like now, dude, I'm like wrestling's life at my house. I'm married, you know what I mean? Like,
oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, nah, like I'm married. When I first got with my wife, she knew I liked wrestling, but kind of. But
well, that's because at the time you
kind of
liked wrestling.
But when we moved in, every Monday I had to watch Raw, every whatever SmackDown, the pay-per-views, and then we'll just be sitting there now like, you know, hey, let's have a movie day. Like, well, I'm watching wrestling on YouTube. I'm watching What Culture lists of like, the best 10 moments of WrestleMania.
Oh, you're watching like, Houston Wrestling Radio.
That's what I'm really doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that's just how it is, man. Like wrestling has just been a thing of mine since forever, and like the HWR thing, man. I've always loved, tuning in and like just seeing what you're doing with it and shit. My band did the original intro for the for
we did just the podcast.
Doing the podcast,
musical intro.
Yeah, my band in Exile, my old band in Exile, would do the intro. Our intro to our album was the intro to the
show
for a while.
Which, man, that's something I've really been wanting to do. I just haven't been able to figure out how to do it on YouTube. To actually have a musical start and then we like jump in, because now I just hit the button, give it a couple of seconds. Okay, is it up? Hey, we're up. Okay, we're live. And then live from La Cucina Studios. And like it's kind of like a cold open, and I don't like that. And I haven't been able to figure out how to not do that. Maybe have like a video package opening, like how Raw does,
That'd be cool. Yeah.
But yeah, I gotta figure that out. If anybody out there knows how to do that, let us know. Send me a freaking how-to to do that, and we'll figure it out.
Because I tune in on, the lives or the next day to watch, and I just see, Chris fixing your glasses and whatnot. You guys having a conversation. I'm just like, I'm trying to watch.
We're just dicking around for like 30 seconds or a minute, and like,
and then you get into live. Imagine like watching Vince McMahon or Jim Ross just kind of just sitting there like picking their nose, and then welcome to Monday Night Raw. I'd be like, dude, I already watched you just sit there and do nothing. For like 5 minutes.
Where are we? How did this turn into us bashing the show? All right. Well, okay. Let's get back to the real nitty gritty here. Okay. We still work together now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I took a brief hiatus, but I came back, and still, as we're driving around work, we're listening to the radio. We're listening to Sports Radio 610, but and 790 now, because Josh Ennis is on there. We love the Josh Ennis show.
We're 1%. 0.1 percenters.
No, 2.
Oh no, 2.2 percenters.
0.2 percenters. And the whenever we work on Saturday mornings, we always have to work from 8 to 12, and we're out, running customers, doing collections. But that's kind of like the dead zone time for sports radio on both stations.
There's nothing on sports radio, and then the radio sucks in general. And then like the Buzz has like this fucking redneck car selling show now on the mornings or whatever.
Give me the VIN.
Yeah, send me the VIN or some shit like that. So we take that time to talk about wrestling for 4 hours.
We literally have an episode of Ride Along for 4 hours.
That's basically with the occasional us doing our job.
Occasionally. Like
we'll run a customer like
on
once or twice an hour, unless our manager's watching us. We do it all the time.
Yes, we do it all the time.
And we don't even talk about wrestling.
Yeah, we don't.
But yeah, that's basically what we do for 4 hours. Just like, you know what I mean? Watch, talk about wrestling, because that's just what.
Well, I mean, hell, today is what Sunday. Mm-hmm. So yesterday was Saturday. Mm-hmm. This. We had like another 4 hour conversation. Like, what the hell did we even talk about?
We had to stop ourselves from talking so much about wrestling, because we had to save it for today.
Yeah,
we were like, I don't want to get burnt out on talking about wrestling. And I was like, I never get burnt out on talking about wrestling. I can talk about wrestling every goddamn day. The only time I'm not talking about wrestling, I'm thinking about wrestling. Yeah. So that's basically where it's coming from there.
There was something that we were talking about that was like really fucking super interesting. And I was like, man, I wish we could get that on tape.
The overrated legends.
Oh, what's the most over? I think we got that off of Facebook. I think Cult of Kayfabe
said like,
had a thread like that.
Yeah, at first we were like, we have all these, and we realized, well, I don't know, it's really an age gap thing. Like for me, I'm 29, you're 33.
Yeah, well, about to be 33. Yeah.
Yeah, and like
No, I am 33.
There you go.
Shit, I don't even remember.
Yeah, like for us, to me, like legends or whatever, they're overrated. I wouldn't say they're overrated. I just don't know about them. You know what I mean? Like a Harley Race and stuff like that. Like, dude, I'm too young to know what the fuck Harley Race is. You know what I mean? Like, I'm too young to ever watch any. Like, George Animal Steel died like last week. I'm like, okay, cool. He was like an oddity for a little while. That's how I know him because I'm young. You know, not young. You know, I'm 29. You know what I mean? To me, the legends start in like the new
80s.
Generation era. Like,
not even the 80s.
Yeah, I guess you can say that, but to me, like they start in like my first legend. Well, I guess you know what you'll see like Hogan and Warrior and Macho and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I guess the late 80s or whatnot. But the ones that mean shit to me are like the Bretts, the Shawns, you know what I mean, like and stuff like that. And the early 90s. From then it goes on to legends. So like if you ask me who's overrated, I think you said like Honky Tonk Man. I'm like, I've never seen a Honky Tonk Man match in my life just because I'm just like, yeah, whatever. This is stupid. This is fucking, whatever.
I mean, I think that is a perfect example of somebody who's probably one of the most overrated legends.
Yeah.
Honky Tonk Man. But then again, like if I bring that up to you, you're like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So we kind of kept it to like late 80s, early 90s talk.
Yeah.
And I couldn't come up with somebody that I said was this guy is a legend that is overrated.
Yeah.
You know, like because most of them are appropriately rated. Say. Like Rick Rude, he's appropriately rated.
Yeah, he's not.
There's nobody over there going, "Oh my God, Rick Rude is so good." You
know?
Yeah. They're like, "Hey, Rick Rude, he was a cool guy," you know, and like that's it. Like I can't think of anybody who's like overrated.
Yeah, I don't even think we came up with anybody. We came up with like a couple of maybes, but then they were like, no, everyone's just appropriately rated because no one overblows things. And then the discussion came into like the 2000s stuff like that.
Yeah,
I said something that kind of pissed you off. I said I thought Edge was overrated.
You fucking fuck.
Well, here's
Edge
the thing.
Is not overrated.
That goes full circle of why I didn't watch wrestling for 10 years. When I wasn't watching wrestling, that's when Edge had his big run as world titles and one like that. I know Edge of You Think You Know Me and The Brood and fucking like
coming out through the audience.
Yeah, like concertos and like 5-second poses. I'm like, that's not legendary to me. That's like, that's funny. That's cool.
Totally reeks of awesomeness.
Yeah, it reeks of awesomeness. I was 11 and 12 when that happened. Those are the words I was using as 11 and 12-year-old. I'm 29-year-old now. But like, I got back in. Like I said, literally the Raw that I started watching wrestling again was the Raw that he retired. So I was just like, what the fuck happened? Why does this guy mean so much now? And then I watched it happen. I was like, oh, okay. So I missed a lot of shit. Yeah, I missed a lot of shit. And I think the other guy to me was Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy was,
and I agreed with you there.
Jeff Hardy was a a spot guy. You know what I mean? Like to me, I would equate him to like Seth Rollins, but without any actual but way worse in the ring. So like Seth Rollins is badass in the ring. Jeff Hardy has a couple spots that he does. Yeah, but he's not a technical wrestler. He's just, whatever. He looks.
Matt was always a technical wrestler.
Yeah, and fucking Matt didn't do shit until last year. Until the Broken Hardy. Yeah. To me, I didn't give a shit about Matt Hardy ever until the Broken Hardy thing because it's more funny than anything.
Even then, like you don't even watch TNA, so like that was like
that's all internet.
You didn't tune into Impact. You watched it on fucking live.
Yeah, I watched YouTube what the hell. Yeah, and like even then, it's only the promos that I enjoy that he does. Yeah. He like the funny voice. He did that TMZ interview, all kayfabe. He did it all straight kayfabe. Like what the hell? And like I was like, this is funny. This is the most character I've ever seen him have. But then I guarantee you now, if you were to come back to WWE, I'd be like, fuck yeah. And then like he'll start wrestling. I'm like, all right, whatever.
Yeah.
Like that's it. Like, oh, he's actually wrestling? No, I don't care if he's any good or not. I just never bought into him. But as far as Jeff Hardy, I just think it was like I love like he was like Shane McMahon. Spot fest. So like if him and Shane McMahon were to have a match, now it would be terrible, but it'd be some spots going on. They'd be jumping off shit. But that's where we came full circle as far as like the newer crop of people that we were thinking were overrated, underrated, but.
Yeah, if anybody out there like has, if you want to chime in on this, go ahead and do so. Go to facebook.com/Houston Wrestling Radio and tell us what you think is the most overrated. I know that this is kind of an off time for somebody to be in the live chat, but I have the live chat up and running right here on my phone. So if you want to, chime in on that, hey, let us know. But yeah, I mean, who's the most overrated legend? And God, that's so hard. And
it's a hard question.
You have to break that down by
legends
by
go
generation.
by generation.
You have to break that down by generation. because if you bring up anybody,
yeah,
and it's like before my time, I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Yeah.
You know, I could go as far back as the 80s.
Yeah.
You try to go into like the early 80s and 70s and stuff. I have no, like Hackenschmidt. I don't know what the fuck that is. You know,
like but like I guess a good question: who would be the most overrated person of the Attitude Era? I don't know, because everyone that's rated high is appropriately rated because that was the shit. But people some of the people were like, yeah, and you were just kind of like, I really don't see the big hype. I don't know, because it was just that good of a time.
Honestly,
maybe?
for me, this might just be because I've been more of a WWF guy than a WCW guy. I think I'd have to dip into the WCW pool there.
Oh yeah, don't get me started on overrated WCW thing.
I might.
Our current Universal Champion is the most overrated.
Yes, that's exactly what I was about to say.
Goldberg. Even as a kid, I was like, that's it. That's his match. I was pissed. I was offended as watching wrestling. It's like
when I was offended as a little smark.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I see this to the same degree that I would see my dad get really excited about a Mike Tyson fight, and then we'd go to like a relative's house or people who actually had money to buy a pay-per-view or something like that, and then we'd sit there, we'd drink and you watch the undercard, and then here comes Mike Tyson. Oh hell yeah! Then 46 seconds later, he knocked the fuck out of fucking Joe Plumber or whatever, whoever he would fight. Yeah, my dad would just be like, I fucking wasted my goddamn time tonight.
Yeah,
that's the exact thing I would see in a Goldberg main event or a Goldberg match. I was just like, okay, the interest was cool. Again, I was 10, and when I was that shit, I was like, yeah, that's badass. You the breathing, the smoke, and all that stuff like that. That was cool. He'd come out to the ring, bam, bam, spear, jackhammer, win. I'm like, well, shit. That's it. That's it. I think he's so overrated. I think I actually remembered an answer to the overrated WWE guy.
Okay,
Kevin Nash. Because whenever he was Diesel Power,
as Diesel, I could probably, but dude, for what he is now, he's a legend now. Dude, you can't not count his WCW stuff. He's definitely a legend because of all the stuff he did in WCW. Now, whether or not it was underhanded or not underhanded, that's a different thing. But WCW was a fucking Wild West out there. The inmates were all running the asylum. So why not him?
Like if you stick to, like I said, WWF, WWE, I think Kevin Nash Diesel was way overrated, but all because he made his money in WCW. He was the outsiders. The fucking Bullet Club does this because Hall and Nash did this. It's Too Sweet and the Click and the stuff like that. But I don't know. I think that's where. But WCW had so many. Man, I get a lot of shit. I think I also angered you with another piping hot take of Diamond Dallas Page. Yes. I didn't give a shit about Diamond Dallas Page. You were like, he was the heart and soul of WCW. I'm like,
he's a heart and soul.
Again, because I was such a WWF kid.
Yeah.
I shit on WCW. I was like, whatever. Like I like the theatrics of WCW, and because of all the money they had, they could do all the cool shit. And the Nitro Girls. And but I was just like, I just never saw the big thing. I there was a time where I went over to WCW. And that was when the NWO came out. I was so much more interested. But that's when fucking Ahmed Johnson, Savio Vega, fucking...
Don't bring up Ahmed Johnson.
Hey, Ahmed Johnson is a god to me. But like,
why do you like Ahmed Johnson so much? Okay, hold on. This guy, I don't know what the hell's his problem. For the last 6 years, I've known this guy, Royal Rumble time. And like, oh man, I want to see Ahmed Johnson return to the Royal Rumble. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why do you like Ahmed Johnson so much?
I think it's because like when I was younger, I heard he was from Houston, so I think that's why I like.
He was a Pearl River powerhouse. He was from fucking Mississippi and all that shit.
Kayfabe. I don't even know if that's accurate. I mean, but like
according to your dirt sheets, paper sheets.
The Undertaker's from fucking Death Valley. He's fucking off of 290s where he used to goddamn grow up. But like I heard through, I guess maybe read through a dirt sheet that he was from Houston. So I, for some old reason, just always got behind. Oh man, he had the look and he had everything. I loved him, and then he just left. And he got really fat, and then he's done. Yeah. But I always hope for Ahmed Johnson to come back.
The thing I always associate Ahmed Johnson with is this vignette thing that they were trying to hype him over, and Todd Pettengill was doing the voiceover for it. And this is the one thing that sticks out for me is Ahmed is all mad.
Yeah.
Every time I think of Ahmed Johnson, I think of Todd Pettengill saying that stupid ass pun.
But that's that whole 1995, 96, where WWF was just a shithole to be in, But WCW was rising up because they got Hall and Nash, Hogan, NWO. It was just a lot more fun. Shit, that's the reason why the Attitude Era started, because Vince was like, oh shit, now I have to step my game up as far as being, like keeping up with what they're watching, like what their viewers are watching, and more adult stuff and more. So that's why I have to smut it up and whatnot, and then
smut it up.
And that's that was the best thing that ever happened to wrestling.
Yeah.
But I mean,
okay, then here's a new discussion here. Should WWE smut it up again now? I mean, we've been in the PG era for a long time. Do they need it?
That's a good question, because the business side of me is like, no, hell no, dude. All the kids, like I have a daughter. She's 2. In like 2, 3, 4 years, I'm gonna have her wearing like the Bailey fucking wrist things. I'm gonna have her doing the hugger thing, or I'm actually buying her a Sasha Banks onesie. Because
what did you say she did on SmackDown? This
Randy Orton burned down fucking
Bray Wyatt's
compound, and he did the whole Randy Orton thing. I'm watching it, and she just goes like she did the Randy Orton thing. I'm just like, that's my girl right there. That's one of the proudest parent moment I've ever had. This is my daughter, she's already a mini mark.
And you didn't make her do that. She just saw Randy Orton doing it, and she goes up behind.
She just did it. So like, that's what I'm saying. It's like, dude, it's so accessible. It's so like mainstream. And
although this is at the point where the most non-PG thing WWE's done in the last year,
burn down someone's house,
commit arson.
You burn down somebody's house, commit arson, and that makes you a face. That was his face turn.
That was what your daughter was marking out for.
Yes. It's a very weird.
So then again, I pose the question: does WWE need it to smut it up a little?
I think they've been slowly doing it.
Yeah,
they've been slow, like the occasional Roman Reigns saying "ass" when I want to beat your ass, and everyone's like, "Oh my god," you know what I mean? Or the occasional Natalia saying "bitch" when you tell you she does not use the word "bitch." You can just tell when somebody doesn't normally cuss. Yeah, you can tell that they're like slowly like dabbing it in. They're like, maybe let's try for like wetting their feet about it. But I just think from a business standpoint, no, they should just keep it the way it is, with just the occasional, nods to the Attitude Era, nods to, cussing and blade jobs and stuff like that, just to keep people like us a little happy. Like I was just saying before, we went on air about how the Sami Zayn segment where he was like beating the shit out of Samoa Joe and like Kevin Owens and with a chair, but the fact that he was like lightly tapping him on the back, it's like, dude, I grew up in the fucking Mick Foley having his hand tied, fucking The Rock just beating the shit out of him in front of his family over his head, like 17
different angles over his head.
Yes, but look at them now; they're basically fucking retarded now. He has to literally write the fucking video of the cheap pop. I think that stretches from not kayfabe
because he screwed up one time. But
I mean, you got other people. Benoit, perfect example. Chair shot's gone wrong.
Well, no, that was from the headbutts, but still head trauma.
Head trauma gone wrong. So I think they're keeping it safe, and it like from the non-fun side of it, it's like, okay, it's smart. You were making so much money and whatnot, but from like the 28, 29 to 30 something demographic, it's kind of like we want our little, at least our nods to the old days. Back in let me tell you a story, kid. When back in the, we had the Attitude Era. That we went to our grandkids that about the Attitude Era. That's how I think they're trying to do a good job of it, and that goes to where is this company going to have? Like you said yesterday, the day Vince passes away, what the fuck is going to happen?
Yeah, that day is going to be epic. Because not necessarily in a good way. I'm not saying I look forward to Vince dying. I'm just saying the day when that happens. Oh God, that's gonna be crazy.
Because you gotta wonder, like 5 years ago, we were like, oh my God, Triple H is gonna take over. It's gonna be fucking terrible. He's gonna bury everybody. And then look what happened with NXT. The best thing that happened in the past 2-3 years.
Look at
SmackDown. You could tell he probably has more of a hand on SmackDown than Raw, because just how Raw is still kind of typical and stuff. Like they have more time, but they use more filler stuff.
Yeah.
So, look what happened like 40 minutes ago. They'll do a whole like a 5-minute replay of what happened. Like I know that happened. I just saw that.
Yeah.
But you could tell Hunter has more like he was more hands on with it.
Yeah,
and I think it'll be for the better. I hope. Well, I hope for our sake. It's just kind of like, man, I hope he does a good job with it because Vince seems kind of like out of touch on things or like tries to be too hard to be in touch with things and it just doesn't come out right.
Yeah.
And I just think it's going to be a good time. It's a good time right now to be a wrestling fan, especially like calendar wise, WrestleMania season right now.
Yeah,
you live and breathe that shit right now.
Well, it's WrestleMania season, so I mean, are you looking forward to Mania? Like, are you cool with the build right now, or
I'm looking forward to aspects of WrestleMania, like the Raw thing, like the Universal title thing. Just like I know I speak for the majority of being like, Goldberg versus whatever Brock Lesnar, like for the fifth time, and then like that's terrible. Like I mean, I hate to be that guy, but that's just terrible. That's a disrespect to the belt. Like it's the top belt, and it's just kind of like
it is the Universal title. I mean, come on, man. It's not the top belt.
It should be.
It should be the top.
It's Raw is a flagship show. That is the biggest title in the company, and we're having I feel like we're in 2013 where it's like where we're getting mad because once in a lifetime is happening, and they're gonna take the belt off Punk and give it to a part-timer. Yeah. And then like he's gonna go. And then the next year they give it to fucking Brock Lesnar, or I may be switching them around. By the way, we've had 2 part-time champions in the past couple of years, and either way you look at it, I think we're going to get a part-time champion. Yeah. To the degree of, I think.
Well, I mean, if it's going to be Brock or Goldberg, both of which are going to be part-time champions,
exactly.
So either way, you're going to have a part-timer as a champ.
Either we're not going to have a fighting champion.
Yeah.
We're not going to go to a house show and see the Universal title on the line.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which kind of blows because... I mean,
but do you really... Like, okay, see, that's where I'm kind of with you, where you were saying, like, oh, the business side of me feels this way and all this and that. That's kind of how I feel about these part-timers, because on the one side, it's like, these are not guys that we're going to see all the time.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, it's like, well, I kind of have been, not a huge proponent, but I've been receptive to the idea of wrestling having an off season or not having as many dates or have as much content so that the wrestlers can rest, so that you don't get another situation like Punk or Balor or Edge or Bryan, where they don't wear themselves out too soon,
Also about Mania is where I think Travis had a point as far as like, dude, my mom doesn't know who Kevin Owens is. My mom, you know what I mean? Like our parents don't know who some of these, mid-card or whatever now, like semi-high mid-card or whatever, who would normally be the champion throughout like the year, but they know Goldberg, they know Brock Lesnar, everyone, the mainstream knows. The people who don't watch wrestling anymore but come around for Mania just to watch Mania because it's an attraction, that's who they're catering to, which again, that's what I'm saying. I hate to be that guy because I know why they're doing it, and I'm just like, whatever. It's just a shame that it's because of the belt. If they don't need the belt for that feud. But
they don't.
But it's okay because we're getting KO and Chris Jericho, which is going to be awesome. We're going to get other matches on the card that are going to be great. The only thing right now, the only negative I have right now was AJ Styles. I hope we don't get AJ Styles versus Shane McMahon.
I hope so.
I hope for the greater good that we don't get that. I was so excited for a AJ Styles, Randy Orton, Bray Wyatt triple threat match to close the show. To pay off, to give you the thanks, to give SmackDown the thanks of you earned the main event, you earned this match of the year candidate because you possibly because you had better content. We're gonna end on break. It's gonna be because remember the Royal Rumble winner main events WrestleMania no matter what. So a huevo, you're gonna have fucking Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt to close WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Whether that be at 10:45 p.m. like last year, who knows? And people already checked out, who knows? But that's where you're gonna get, and that's cool. But AJ Styles should be rewarded for the best year I've seen anybody have in a while. He's probably had the best year since the year of Punk, the Summer of Punk. Yeah, and Summer of Punk was legit Summer of Punk, so it was like a couple months. Yeah. This dude, I guess you know what? I get to see a calendar year.
It was a calendar year.
It was about 6 months, 6-7 months, where he was just like. Wow, like I was amazed by him. Again, AJ Styles is one of those guys. Again,
this is not somebody that you marked out for as a TNA in New Japan. You didn't know the guy.
Whenever he debuted at the Royal Rumble, I was excited, but not because I knew the hell we did. I was excited because it was something different. It was something new. It was something fresh. I was like, ooh, that's cool. And then like the first month or so, he had badass matches with Jericho. I'm like, ooh, this guy's actually, hey, he is what I heard that he is. And I know whenever you come to WWE, you have to tone your style down. Like, to me, Nakamura is amazing, but I bet you he was even more amazing in fucking the Japanese matches. But like
Nakamura and AJ together,
exactly,
they were both amazing.
Exactly,
they both toned
exactly.
down.
But I was excited about AJ, and then you had him lose 3 times to Roman Reigns, and that's when I was like, Vince is he's never gonna learn. He's gonna bring in people who, to spite them for never signing with us, I'm gonna fucking shit all over you and make you earn your shit again, or like basically, humble them. Because AJ Styles probably came in like, dude, I've been a champion everywhere, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's my AJ Styles impression.
That's
and like he's like, that's
not how we work it out. That's more of a Vince walk.
But that's like his aura of
right there.
His aura.
Yeah.
So Vince McMahon was probably like, you know what, I'm gonna bury. That's why I was fearful. But then the brand, it's a brand split. I fucking hate that show. They call whatever the extension or whatever. It's whatever. The brand split happened, and AJ Styles and John Cena just went. Dude, I am 29 years old and I'm a fucking huge John Cena fan.
Oh,
I went years hating John Cena, hating the idea of John Cena.
Yeah.
Understanding, well, yeah, that's the kids like, but I was like, oh, whatever. He has 5 moves or whatever. But right now, same thing with, dude, I'm getting off a track, whatever. But The Miz.
I don't think we've ever been on the track.
The Miz, dude. Fuck. Like, I grew up watching Mike on The Real World. So I'm just like, hell yeah, I like Mike. He's cool.
You actually watched The Real World?
Yeah, dude. I watched The Real World, the Road Rules and Real World Challenges. That's where I really started liking him. He's fucking cool. He's funny. And I still remember the episode where he got wasted and started doing like becoming The Miz and like, whatever. Like we find out that he was into wrestling or like that. And then, this is when I'm not watching wrestling anymore, but I just casually see that he's on SmackDown as a wrestler. I'm like, oh, he did it. That's like a publicity stunt. That's they're just trying to be relevant, whatever. And then years went by, and I'm like, oh, he's still in the company. And then the year that I came back to watching wrestling was right after the main event where Mania, it was Miz versus The Rock, which I heard, or Miz versus Cena, which is what I heard one of like the most throwaway manias there's been in a while. So I was like, I don't get why he's a big deal. He's not that good. He's not that good on the microphone. He stole his personality from Jericho, the slow talking thing. And I'm just like, whatever. Up until, dude, I was mad whenever they gave him the belt over Ryder last year, and I don't even like Ryder. And I was just mad that like, that's really gonna put it back on him. But talking smack and SmackDown in general have made me a huge Miz fan.
Oh
dude.
yeah,
I love the Miz.
I'm the exact same way, man.
I love the Miz because of just, dude, he's like you feel that, for lack of a better word, realness from it. Yeah, see, you can tell he lives in the real world. He knows what we think and what like that about all the shit behind John Cena. But at the same time, John Cena turns that shit around and just eviscerates him on the fucking microphone 2 weeks ago. Just like he ethered fucking AJ Styles before their match. I was just like, dude, oh my god, he just fucking like took his nuts from him and just told him, I'm John Cena. What the fuck are you gonna do about it? Like basically saying that, but in the way that he does it's just so cool. Like SmackDown has made stars, or Raw has kind of taken them down. Yeah, it's a weird thing because it's like a part of me dies when I say that because I love Raw so much, and like I spent years like I will legit not watch SmackDown for months. Oh yeah, what happened on SmackDown? Okay, or whatever. So basically nothing important. Yeah. So. But then
that's exactly how it was. I mean, hell, for all of this time last year, we didn't even cover SmackDown for a long time.
SmackDown was a fucking glorified WWE superstars.
Yes.
Or main event. Yeah. No one gave a shit.
It was the dry run of Raw. Like they're like, hey, let's figure out something here. If it works, we're going to put it back on Raw.
The last event that I went to was the SmackDown whenever they were here after Mania. That was the first SmackDown after Mania. So technically, it was still a good SmackDown because all the other people were there. But for the most part, man, it's like, hey, SmackDown's coming. Oh, nah. I'm all right. But, like, now, if SmackDown comes now, I fucking try to get the best seats available because I love SmackDown. And they make people fucking into stars. Perfect example, you had James Ellsworth on fucking Raw. Job out to Braun Strowman. I don't like James Ellsworth. I think he's fucking annoying looking. But he became a star last year on SmackDown. And it's just like, Baron Corbin, dude, I could not stand Baron Corbin in NXT. I thought he was the most boring thing ever. Like I saw what they were doing with him. He's probably cool backstage and stuff like that. And that little mini feud with Corey Taylor from Slipknot and stuff like that. That was cool. I got it, but I just did not. When I would watch him wrestle, I was just like, "This is the big, tall Matt Hardy." That's all I kept saying. Like, man, dude,
tall Matt Hardy,
that big, tall Matt Hardy. Then he came in, won the Andre Battle Royal, and I didn't care. Yeah, he feuded with Ziggler, and I didn't care. He did whatever, I didn't care. But then slowly on SmackDown, you give him some time, season him.
Dude, that new Titantron he has, where the fucking blackness is
that's cool.
Now, dude, that's
badass. Cool. I used to hate his old intro. I'm like, this is stupid.
Yeah,
but now I'm like, that's cool. They use it perfectly. Yeah. They use their new entrance thing, badass. They incorporate it into the things. So SmackDown makes people.
But see, SmackDown's not without its flaws because I mean, you don't want to talk about that they make people, but look what they've done to Ziggler. They haven't. They've torn him down a little bit. Like, no, he's irrelevant now.
The thing about Ziggler though, Ziggler has done the same thing for 5-6 years. The times just changed. I think. I just like he had his run as that. And I see they try to heal him up, but they don't heal him up enough. What they were going with, whenever he fucking told Jerry Lawler, that was basically my fault. You almost died. They should have kept going with that.
That was brutal,
man. I was like, oh my God, yeah.
Savage
AF. Yeah. And then they just went away with it. Now he's angry and he hits people. And like,
well, and they're pairing it up with Apollo Crews, who's Mr. I'm just happy to be here. And dude, he's like,
I fear.
I don't care.
I was gonna go full circle.
I
fear that he's gonna be this era's Ahmed Johnson. He has a look. He has the fucking muscles. He's black. You know what I mean? And it's like that.
He's black.
And he's like, yeah, I want to root for him, but they just don't give him anything. He's just like, well, walking out like, I'm just happy to be here. And it's like, dude, heal that motherfucker up. Give him a mouthpiece. Have him be a Paul Heyman guy. I don't give a fuck. Do something with him. Like you try. Oh man. But at the same time, what gives me hope for him is Cesaro. Cesaro was that guy for me a couple years ago where it's like, I knew he was an indie darling. I knew that he was like, whatever. You used to tell me, whenever he first debuted, he was like, oh my God, that's Claudio Castagnoli or whatever the fuck his name is. I think I said it right.
Yeah, it's Claudio Castagnoli.
I purposely tried to sabotage the name and I got it right.
Yeah.
And like, you were telling me all about
Castagnolio.
Yeah.
There you go.
And I was like, whatever, he's just a foreigner. I was saying, I was never a big foreigner guy. Dude, I hated Rusev for the first year. I was like, whatever, because of the way they treat him. Handsome Rusev. Now I love handsome Rusev. But yeah, Cesaro was that guy of like, man, he has the talent, but they don't know what the fuck to do with him. Yeah. They put Paul Heyman with them, and that didn't work.
No.
He did the Zeb Culture thing. That didn't work. Nothing worked. What finally worked?
Hell, you could argue that stuff still hasn't worked with him yet because he's over with like a lot of people. Yeah. But WWE isn't doing anything with them. Like, they give him this tag team run with Sheamus, but what's happened with that? They won belts, they lost the belts, and now they're still a tag team.
I will credit him. He made Sheamus great again. He fucking did it, dude. Forever, dude. Whenever I first started watching wrestling again, or tried to with my little nephew, Sheamus was a thing. And I always remember being King Sheamus and all that. And I was like, that guy's really white. I don't like, he's super fucking pale. It bothered me. Like, so I was like, fuck that guy.
It doesn't bother you with Paige, you son of a bitch.
Nothing bothers me with Paige.
Aye.
And
you know, she likes Mexicans.
That's true. She has a Mexican.
She has a Mexican.
But no, I was like, whatever, Sheamus. And then like, and whenever he was a face, he was like the most annoying face ever with the most annoying non-face ever with the being a bully, basically.
Yeah.
But whatever. I always thought Sheamus, whatever. Sheamus is just Sheamus. And then even when he came back with the fucking mohawk and the beard, I liked the look, but they didn't really know what to do with it. And then the League of Nations thing happened, which was fucking terrible. And then they teamed him up with Cesaro, and at first, they did the best of 7 matches, which I used to always fast forward.
Just fast forward all of them.
Yeah, I hated saying it because I bet you they were probably good because Cesaro's badass. They were good. But I was just like, I know where this is going. They're gonna tie at 6, and then at 7, something's gonna happen, and they're gonna team up as a tag team. I fucking saw that booking coming months away. I didn't even care. I knew what was gonna happen, and it happened. But the way that they paired them was bad. That fucking brawl on the bar was awesome. And the fact that they interrupt each other in their intros, it's fucking cool, and I like it. I still fast forward their matches.
I mean, they haven't done anything since then.
But I love their pre and post match stuff.
Yeah.
All their stuff in the back, the way the way Sheamus, I can watch him bro kick Enzo Amore every fucking day of my life.
How you doing?
How you doing? He can fucking, dude. He makes, because Enzo sells it badass, and he just kills him.
Yeah,
because he's rough. He's known for, he fucking ruined. He ended Daniel Bryan's career. You know, he's rough. You know what I mean? Watching him and Brock Lesnar have a match would be fucking terrible, because they're so goddamn like
terrible in a good way.
Yeah, they're so stiff.
Okay,
and they're stiff in the ring too. And how you doing?
Where's Dingy? Ding.
But like, he made me like a fan of Sheamus. But that's the content we have now. We're just like, man, it's some of them are hit or miss as far as like the characters and what they do with the booking and whatnot. But it's just a good stage to be in wrestling in general right now. It's a time where I'm happy to be like, yeah, I watch wrestling without shame. It'd just be like, for the most part, like, oh, you watch wrestling? Yeah. Fuck, when I told my brother last night at dinner, he was like, hey, we're gonna go take mom out because my mom's in town. She doesn't live here in Houston. She visits, a couple weeks of the year. She's like, hey, we're gonna go take mom shopping and this and that. I'm like, okay, cool. What time? At around 11 or so. I'm like, oh crap. I was like, I'm gonna go do this thing where I'm gonna talk about wrestling in front of a camera
with another dude,
with another guy. And he's like, really? I'm like, yeah, dude. Trust me. It's my thing. It's fine. It's cool. Yeah. I'll be free at 2. That's it.
What time is it now?
Whatever.
I'll 1:20.
But yeah, it was more of like the.
And
but now
he was just judging the shit.
He was judging me, but I was but I didn't give a fuck. I was like, yeah, I'm talking about wrestling.
I'm a grown ass man. I'm watching
wrestling. Man. Okay. Yeah, I pay my bills. I have a kid, and I watch fucking wrestling. I don't give a fuck.
Get used to it.
Yeah, we're here. We're clear. Get used to it.
Yes.
But no, dude, like it's a time right now where it's acceptable to be like, oh, I watch wrestling. Okay, cool.
So you say all this about how it's acceptable and that it's okay for you to watch wrestling and this and that, but someone's immediately gonna just like take away all that cred. Right now, when I bring this up, is your gay man crush for Finn Balor?
Finn Balor, dude. Man, my household is a Finn Balor household. I remember hearing about Fergal Devitt and like, who the fuck is this guy? And then whatever. Then he's supposed to be some big guy or whatever. So I don't care.
Same thing with AJ Styles, when you don't know anything about him.
I don't. Like just a couple months ago, Kenny Omega. Everyone's hyped up. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck that guy is, but everyone likes him. So I jumped on the fucking bandwagon. Oh, I hope he comes out the Rumble, not knowing who the fuck he is. But I was that guy. I didn't even know.
He needs to show
I was a bunch of bandwagon fan for a little while. But yeah, Finn Balor, he came out, and I was like
you were a bandwagon Brock Osweiler fan at this time last year.
Yeah, I was. But Finn Balor came out, and I was like, holy shit, this dude has the look. Like,
yeah,
I'm kind of questioning myself right now. But
did it twitch a little?
Oh, yeah, it did this. It more than twitched. I went from 12 to 6 real quick, but then I was like, whoa, wait a minute. But anyway, I was like, holy shit, this guy has a good look as far as like, you know what I mean? And then his demon stuff, I just thought I was very interested in him. And then I watched him wrestle, and I was like, oh my God, he's badass.
Yeah.
Him and fucking Nakamura, him and Joe, him and who fucking ever. Anytime he would fight in NXT, I would love it,
dude. With the exception of Uhaa Nation, Apollo Crews, with the exception of him, all these guys that come in with all this hype that you don't know about, you wind up liking.
Yes.
Why the fuck don't you just break down and actually start watching, indie stuff or something other than WWE? Why don't you?
It takes too much work. The main reason why
there's not enough hours in the day.
Yeah, sort of. The main reason, like, okay, I never watched Impact because whatever, it was on Spike or whatever. It was just I don't want to click to the Spike. I didn't want to scroll to Spike, and I was just like, well, whatever. But the other thing was about Impact. They used to be on like on a random week, Thursday.
They were on Thursday nights.
Yeah, so whatever. Like Thursday nights weren't good for you and I back in the day. Well, they're still kind of aren't.
Even now.
We worked 12 to 9, so by the time I got home, it would be kind of ending.
It'd be over.
And back, I didn't have DVR till like 2 years ago, so I never got to record anything. So I was like, oh, I missed that or whatever. I don't care about TNA. And then when I would have watched, I was like, man, they have good matches, especially the women. They fucking were responsible for their own women's revolution. They don't need it. They were so good. They don't need it. They never needed a women's revolution because they already had it. They were.
It was already good.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just everything else. I don't know. I just never could get behind it. ROH. I don't even know where to watch that. I don't even know. Like, Do I sign on to something?
That's
do
a
I
very big problem with ROH.
Yeah, like I don't in New Japan. Where the fuck do I go watch that? Like the international channel, like channel 873 on my dial. Like I'm not gonna look for that, dude. It's too. I'm a lazy American, dude. I'll just watch USA Network. I'm fucking American.
Oh
yeah. Like,
Duggan, is he overrated, legend?
I think he.
Or is he appropriately rated? Because I don't know. I don't think there's a lot of people that just gush all over
Hacksaw. I don't. In the 80s, I guess he was. I think he falls right on the cusp of being too old for me. As far as like, I never got to watch him in his prime.
Yeah, because I mean, on the one hand, I want to say he was overrated, but
didn't he nobody win the first Royal Rumble?
Yeah, he did.
And he never won a championship.
Right.
So that tells you enough about Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
I don't think he's overrated because I don't think there's anybody out there who's like, oh my god, Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Like he'll cause like a pop whenever
Hacksaw.
He'll cause a pop to the effect of where like the boogeyman will cause a pop, like oh hell yeah. Hey, and then like 30 seconds later, all right, get the fuck out of here. Like come on. Whenever he would come back for the Royal Rumble, I'd be like, oh get out of here. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and like he's just coming out with this like
take your two
wearing fucking glorified gym bike shorts now instead of his tights.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Well, I'm glad he wasn't wearing tights.
Oh yeah. but like the whole to go back to Balor has this aura of him, just like he's just like greatness, dude. It's like hell yeah. And I remember telling my wife, like, hey, there's this guy at NXT. He's fucking hot. I'm like, I was straight up, dude. He's good looking, man. Like I question, it makes me question myself, man. He's like, what the like I feel, and then I showed them, and she's like, whoa, and I was like, I know, right? He's fucking like, and then
now she's all in love with him.
She's like, oh, as soon as I mentioned Balor, she's like, ooh, ooh.
Yeah.
And
but dude, he's so gay. I guarantee you, he's gay.
He has to
in
be.
Real life. He has
to be because. Dude, unless he's like,
no, there's anything wrong with that. I'm still gonna cheer for him as a wrestler. I fucking love him.
It's just like there's no way that unless he's just like low key slaying pussy left and right backstage, and we just don't know about it. He's just
he's laying down that Becky Lynch.
Yeah,
like
no, don't do it, don't do it.
No, Becky Lynch.
Becky Lynch goes from a 9 to a 2 the second she opens her mouth. It's just
that's so mean.
Yeah, I know, but that's not my fault. It's not my fault for being honest. I'm just like, oh my god, she's gorgeous. Oh yeah, I'm a joker, dog. Like I get out of here. Yeah, I'm sorry. I get why they took the belt from her because of what was it, Kevin Dunn or somebody said that they didn't like the way she talks on the microphone. We need somebody who could talk. Alexa Bliss, I mean, whatever.
Kevin Dunn.
Don't get me started on Kevin fucking Dunn.
Yeah.
Kevin, then it's Chompers.
Yeah,
but. No, dude, Balor, dude, I'm so excited for Balor. Like, I am full on rager for fucking for Balor, especially when he came back, dude. I've posted like the same video of him coming back on different angles like 6 times in the past 2 days of him coming out in Buffalo. You know what I mean? Like, I was so fucking
house show in Buffalo.
A house show in Buffalo. Yeah, that's what he comes back to.
Why?
That tells you how much Raw's stupid. That shows how much they don't know how to work their fucking talent. Yeah, because you bring them back on fucking Raw. You hype it up.
Yeah.
But then don't get me wrong, I'm still gonna watch Raw, hoping he comes on Raw.
Yeah,
because I'm just that guy.
Was it a Raw house show?
Yeah,
it wasn't an NXT house show. It was a Raw house show.
So
he's on the Raw brand still.
Yeah.
Okay, because I mean, there was a little bit of
because he came out an NXT taping with Nakamura,
right?
But I didn't. I was like, oh, I'm not gonna watch it because I don't want to
spoilers.
Yeah, I still never even watch NXT anymore.
Yeah.
Like I always say that I'm gonna watch it, but I end up catching highlights because it's like I don't know. Yeah. But no, man, like I'm super excited for Balor. I remember being super excited when he came up, and the first thing they had him do was go over Roman on his first match on Raw.
That was nice. That was very exciting.
It was the new era, and we were legitimately happy that we're hopeful about this new era of Raw and SmackDown.
That was like the last time I was so hopeful for Raw.
Yes,
and that was at the brand split.
At the brand split, I was like, oh my! Actually, that was the time where we were like, dude, SmackDown got fucked. Yeah. SmackDown got nobody, and look where we are a couple months later. We're more excited about them.
Yeah. We're excited about John Cena now.
Yes, we're excited about John Cena. I care about Baron Corbin. They finally did it and elevated Bray Wyatt. Yes. Everyone we loved, all of us we loved, but he was with Sami Zayn is right now.
They made Randy Orton great again.
They made him great. I don't know about again. I never enjoyed Randy Orton.
Yeah.
And so now. And
our boss.
Oh our God, boss our manager has like a big the hard crush
the hard on you have for
Balor,
Finn,
he has for
our boss has
for Randy Orton. But no, dude, when Balor now makes his, but here's the thing, where it goes full circle. Why I'm disappointed about the Universal title. He was the champion. He should come back. I wanted him to come back. Here's what I wanted.
I never lost the title.
Yes, I wanted him to fight Kevin Owens at WrestleMania for that belt.
Yeah.
That's the prestige. That was gonna be an amazing. That's who he had his amazing matches with.
Okay.
In NXT it was Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
Fuck, man. Like, what's he gonna do for Mania? What's he gonna do? Who's he gonna fight with?
I'll tell you what he's gonna do. He's gonna be on the pre-show.
Oh my God.
He's the main event house shows and pre-shows.
He's gonna be co-hosting with the New Day. Like, it's gonna be fucking ridiculous. Like, you can't have him feud for the belt because Goldberg and
he's gonna be the Bootio demon.
He's gonna
be for fluorescent pink and green instead of black and red.
No, man. He's like, okay, you can't have him feud for the belt because Bork Laser and Goldberg have it. Kevin Owens is already feuding with Jericho.
Yeah.
Seth Rollins, who I was immediately saying, you know what? Seth Rollins, who hurt you, fuck, turn heel and beat the fuck out of Seth Rollins at Mania. Seth Rollins.
Oh, Devitt could be or Balor could be a heel, man.
Wasn't he a heel in Japan?
I think he was, but dude, I don't know.
I won't boo him. I'll never boo him.
Japan's a different market than here. Yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. Like he seems so natural babyface, you know?
Yeah.
Especially whenever he's posing for pictures with his Legos and he does the
fucking pose. It's so fucking annoying. But I love him. But yeah, what are you gonna do with him, dude? Like, you've dropped the ball immensely with that, because you could have had him all those things that I just mentioned. You could have had him feud with any one of those. You could have had him feud with Owens. You could have had him feud with Rollins. You could have had him feud with whatever. With Joe.
Yeah.
With Joe. You could still technically have him feud with Joe. But hey, Joe Balor WrestleMania. That could say, because if Rollins comes back for Triple H or whatever, look at the matches you're gonna have at Mania. KO, Jericho, what's his name? Balor, Samoa Joe.
I mean, is that really gonna happen though? I mean, if it happens, it's gonna be great.
That'll be great if it happens. If they do it right, this can be a great Mania. This can be one we write home about. One we're like, we're proud of. You know what I mean? They're gonna have their downs. They're gonna have a fucking their Andre Battle Royal, which I mark out for Battle Royals. I love Battle Royals. I don't know what it is. I love them, but 3 years in a row, I don't give a shit about the winner of the winner.
They really dropped the ball on the winners. I mean, okay, who was it? The first one,
Big Show.
Okay, Big Show.
No. Cesaro.
Was Cesaro then Big Show?
Cesaro then Big Show.
Cesaro, Big Show, and Corbin.
I
mean, the only one that they've done anything with for that has been Corbin, because they still say that he's won it. Yeah, but even then, like that, they
give a shit about it.
Yeah, they didn't do anything.
Yeah,
and every year,
you're gonna have fucking
trophy.
Mojo Rawley, stupid ass, gonna win it. Watch.
He's gonna win it for Ryder.
Yeah,
stupid. Out of here.
But like, I don't know. We're gonna have a good Mania. I think we're gonna have. It's gonna continue to be a good time, because that first month after Mania, the Hangover, it's still good. It's still, because that's when the call-ups happen. Well, it used to be when the call-ups happen. Who knows what happens now? But it's still going to be a good time, and I'm going to be really fucking excited to be part of it. And as I did this, I did it for a good reason, because I kind of want to weasel my way into being part of the Houston Wrestling Radio family. As far as there's a method to my madness here. Yeah, so I'm a lobby to have myself be the Tom Phillips of HWR, the host of HWR. But then whenever you guys have a guest, whenever you guys have a guest, I just walk away.
Oh,
I have to,
it's like you're the seat warmer.
Yes,
we are.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, okay. Aside from that,
hashtag we want Arnie.
What's next for you, man? What you got going on? I mean, obviously, we're still going to be working this.
Yeah, I'm going to be working there forever. I just quit my band that I've been in for the past couple of years. We had success, moderate local band success. We put out 2 albums, did tour and all that stuff. Just had a time of my life. I got to the point where it wasn't fun promoting it anymore. Like I was putting in too much money and not getting enough back. And especially when you have a house, a wife, and a child, that takes, you know, effect on you. And I was just kind of like, man, dude, I'm putting in all this work, and is it really worth it? It was worth it for 30 minutes once a month when I play shows. But man, I'm putting in, I can't, I'm burnt out and I can't do it. So I respectfully had to, you know, leave. But there's been this thing that I've been wanting to do forever, which is stand up. I've always wanted to. I've been a fan of stand up since I was a kid. I used to be like, whenever I didn't go out in high school, so on Friday nights, you know, believe it or not, yeah, I was a fucking loser. On Friday nights, Comedy Central used to have like a stand up night, basically. You just see a bunch of specials, man. And that's where I discovered a lot of people. And I just love stand up. And I was just like, you know what? I'm told that I'm kind of funny. But more thing about me is
funny looking.
Yeah. More thing about me is I've lived a lot of funny shit. Tragically funny shit. I've had stories where I can't tell on, you know, and that are funny as hell because of like just the dumbass things that have happened to me.
I hope you could tell them if you want to tell your funny story.
Yeah, that I couldn't tell if this was like a PG show or like that. Yeah.
This obviously isn't a fucking PG show.
Not. I've had.
Well, don't give away your best shit.
All right, I'm not gonna give away my shit, but I've had just dumb shit happen to me where it's like, that's got to be from a sitcom. That's got to be from a movie.
I did run into you with the company truck one time.
Yes, I've been hit by a company truck, by a box truck while just standing there. I've like just dumb shit always happens to me. So I have stories for days. I just gotta piece it out and see if I'm good enough to just tell funny stories for a living. Well, not for a living. I'll never do it for a living, but for fun. So you get paid to tell funny stories.
Well, I mean, if you get paid, that'd be nice.
Yeah,
if that was for it living.
Yeah, or just to do it as a hobby.
Yeah,
just to be able to say, the main reason I why I had fought so hard in the band stuff when it first came out was I wanted my kids to be like, hey, my dad's in a band. My dad put this out, you know, to have like a legacy. Yeah. Now, you know, they're not doing the band.
Don't be a do nothing bitch.
Yeah. It'll be, you know, my kids can be like, hey, my dad's a comedian. Check this out. You know, he's on YouTube or check this out. Like just something to have something to be, you know, proud of and whatnot like that. And so I think that's probably why I'll do it, just for fun, because I can't see myself not doing anything.
Yeah,
I've done that a couple times in my life where just like, dude, what the fuck is my purpose? I don't want to get into my own head, dude. I gotta be busy doing something. You know what I mean? Like, I'm raising a 2-year-old daughter right now. That's just, oh my god, it's so amazing. But it's funny because she does a lot of funny shit. She took a shit on the floor yesterday. We're potty training her. She shat on my floor. So just stuff like that. You know what I mean? That's just the type of stuff. So like
your kid,
my kid,
that would be your kid.
That would be my kid.
Yeah.
Where I'll be like, hey, for an hour, like literally an hour. That's how you're supposed to potty train them according to books, and which I don't read. So my wife did it.
Right.
So for an hour, she tried to get her to pee on her potty. She never peed. Never an hour. My wife was like, come on. And the fucking timer went out. Fucking, we'll try again in 20 minutes. As soon as she walks out of the restroom, psst, I'm like, what the? Why? That's my kid. That's gotta be my kid, because that's the type of luck that we were into. We started this show twice because of my luck, because of my dumb shit that happens to me. We were fucking rolling, man. We were a couple minutes into a battle. We had a solid as beginning to the thing.
5 minutes or something.
Yeah, and then we looked down and we weren't on air. That's the shit that happens to me.
And this never happened to me here, you know. But like when
that's
you show
my
up,
luck. Yeah, I'm just like,
we tried to deliver that washer the other day, and like, oh, we happened to not have the one that was
bit,
shipped.
The one thing. Well, and even then, we didn't happen to have the tool.
The tool that's supposed to be shipped with the washer, and wasn't in there to take out the things.
Even when we were like, well, let's get this shit. Let's get a ratchet. We had
a ratchet.
Yeah, we had every bit but the fucking bit we needed to open the goddamn thing. So that's just the usual bad luck that I have.
Bad luck, Arnie.
The current store we work at, it was supposed to be the new store, the poppin' store, and it's the fucking smallest, crappiest store we have. I got the luck of having the first store ever open up without a vehicle. We're borrowing someone else's truck. So that's just the kind of funny shit that happens to me. So it just kind of like, to make people feel better about their lives, they can come listen to how tragic mine's been so far. That'll be my
bad your life is.
Yeah, you think your life's bad? Check this out. Check this guy out.
Look at this train
wreck piece of shit. Right. But yeah, other than that, I'm just gonna campaign for being on Houston Wrestling Radio all the time.
Look at this guy.
Yeah, let's just. We want Arnie. #we want Arnie.
Well, all right. Well, this show is kind of intended to because there's a lot of people like you. They're like, hey man, I want to come on the show. Hey man, because like in our early years, our first days when it was just me and Travis, we went through a list of our friends where we would have them on like every couple of weeks or so. We had our buddy Aaron on and our buddy Scott, and then we had my girlfriend on, and we had his wife on, and then we had Chris, and Chris just never went away. Chris just like stuck around. You feed him once and he doesn't leave. So I mean that's kind of what this is, because like I said, over the last 5-6 years that we've been doing this, I've met so many new people, and this has really brought some other people together. And I always run into other people who are other wrestling fans who are just really cool people, really nice guys and dudes to talk to. And, they'll come up and talk to me because, I'm the wrestling guy. Hey, let me bounce this idea off of you and that idea. And they'll talk to me for hours. I mean, I'm used to it with him because we do it, every day. He's my work wife, so I see him at work every day. But I have other guys out there who do the same thing with me. So, if you're a big fan of the show, or somebody that I would go out and say, he's my friend now, hey, who knows? Maybe I'll have you on Triple F one of these days. So yeah, let us know if you like this episode, if you like this format, what you think. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment. I know we were kind of doing this at a weird hour, so we didn't have really much people in the live chat, but you can still interact with us on Facebook.com/Houston Wrestling Radio, or on Twitter @HWrestlingRadio. And, just let us know what you think. And I'm always up to meeting new people and talking to new people and chit-chatting about wrestling and stuff, man. That's what I do. That's what I like. That's what I do with this guy all day at work instead of actually working.
Yes.
So, yeah, Arnie, dude, thanks for coming on, man. I guess that's it, unless you have anything else you want to sneak in there.
No, man, just thanks for having me on. It's just like I just talked wrestling for a while, and that's just cool. I can't get over how cool that is. And just like, to me, to being able to talk wrestling, and that's so whoever comes on next, if they want to come on, that's just what they'd be able to do too. They comment on the live chat, so shit, you can just do it in person and just have your voice be actually heard instead of read.
Yeah.
So that'll be the cool thing to do. I encourage people. I encourage people to do that, and just I don't know. That was a really cool thing for me.
Awesome. Well, I guess that's it. We're going to call it a day. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. We very much appreciate it. Arnie, thanks for showing up. And we'll see you on Wednesday. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. we go live where we review that week's worth of wrestling. You never know when we do any other special episode like Turnbuckle Theater, or we review whatever, or a dark match where after a big event we get on afterwards, a pay-per-view or whatever, and we talk about what we just saw. So, hey, thanks for watching our show. Thanks for liking our stuff. Thanks for being a fan and a friend, and maybe another wrestler or fighter, whatever. Adios, my friends. Keep it classy. You could say something like bye. Too sweet me?
Woo. Let's do this.
Wolf pack it back. Boom, 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 boom. Might wind up in a body.
Stop
bag.
the fucking.
Okay.